Hello and welcome to Instablogs Global Report. This is Mani with fresh updates and more citizen voices from all over the world. Stories for the day are: International Atomic Energy Agency reports an additional Syrian nuclear site. 18 people killed in a bloody gun battle between Mexican army and organized crime suspects. Kenyan refugee crisis gets worsened with increased influx of Somali refugees. And our CJ Karim Khan takes us on a journey to the rugged terrains of Northwest Frontier Province. The International Atomic Energy Agency has found traces of processed uranium at a second site in Syria, leading to fears of coerced nuclear activity. CJ Wardaduzurek wonders whether Syria will meet the same fate as Iraq at the hands of the West.
This is Wad Awuzrik, reporting for the Instablogs from Jordan. UN nuke watchdogs have allegedly found traces of man-made uranium in Syria to spread a new kind of fear of undeclared atomic activity. This alleged information was reported by the International Atomic Energy Agency and will be discussed in a meeting held by their Board of Governors, which will begin in Vienna on the 15th of June. International Atomic Agency will also be studying U.S. intelligence reports, which have mentioned that Syria has built a North Korean-designed nuclear reactor. After such reports, one starts to see a pattern that started with Iraq and headed next to Syria, despite the exposure of the lie concerning the alleged Iraqi weapons, which were never found, leaving one to wonder if the same would happen in Syria.
18 people, including 2 soldiers, were killed in a gun battle between the Mexican army and the organized crime suspects in the Mexican resort town of Acapulco. Our CJ has more on the story from Mexico.
18 people, including 2 soldiers, were killed Saturday in a gun battle between the Mexican army and organized crime suspects in the Mexican resort town of Acapulco. The incident began around 7 p.m. when the soldiers went to a location called Avenida Rancho Grande in Acapulco to investigate information obtained through an anonymous tip and were met by gunfire. 5 people were arrested in connection with the shootout. 2 soldiers and 16 gunmen were killed and 9 soldiers were wounded. The gunmen were not identified, but the statement called them members of organized crime.
Kenya has been home to thousands of refugees fleeing the war in neighboring war-torn Somalia, with seemingly no end to the 18-year-old conflict as hardline Somali leaders rally their forces to keep fighting. Our CJ Rizvangu from Kenya reports on the plight of Somali refugees in the Kenyan refugee camps.
This is Rose Wangoi, a citizen journalist from Kenya, reporting on Instablogs. At the moment, the Kenyan government is under pressure to provide more land for Somali refugees. The refugee crisis is getting worse and exposing them to risks. These people have run from horror but are living hopeless lives, not forgetting the ruthless Kenyan policemen who have capitalized on the plight of the refugees. It's very sad that women go through untold suffering while crossing the border to Kenya, and at times they are forced to comply since they cannot afford to raise the money that police ask for them to be allowed to cross over to Kenya. The camps meant for 90,000 refugees shelter over 275,000. On the other hand, the government has not been able to resettle the internally displaced refugees who are still living in camps, and still it has made a promise to provide alternative living places for these refugees who are also living under deplorable conditions.
It has been several months since the regular Hanguko Half Road, used for decades for public transportation, was closed down due to the fear of attacks on public transport vehicles after more than one episode of sectarian violence in Hangu. While the government now considers the road safe for traffic, nearly all public transport vehicles continue to follow the rough and lengthy route of Somalia that bypasses the Shia-dominated villages along the Hanguko Half Road, causing great discomfort to the passengers. Our CJ Karim Khan narrates his experience as he took a journey along the route.
This is CJ Karim Khan from Peshawar in Pakistan. Making the Somalia route as the regular course of travel has further divided the Shia and Sunni communities, since Shia passengers have to follow the regular route to reach their homes or visit their relatives, friends, and so on. The regular route is comparatively better and more comfortable than the Somalia route, which passes through a rugged terrain and takes at least 1 hour longer than the regular route to reach the Khwa tunnel. It also costs more to travel along the Somalia route and there is hardly any place along the way where passengers may get any clean water or any food to eat. As the summer heat is building up, traveling along Somalia route is leaving passengers queasy. The fear of terror and criminal attacks has already restricted the movement of people within the province, and the division of roads has made travel difficult for people of both sects.
If you want your voice to be heard by millions, let Instablogs be your choice. You can contact us at cg@instablogs.com. That's all for today's show. We'll be back with fresh updates and more citizen voices. Till then, it's goodbye from the entire team of Solar Report.